In this video, you'll learn about unusual earnings from Reddit users. Let's get started.
Hey everyone. So to kick things off, I'm not looking for anything too good to be true or some kind of elaborate scam. We've all been there, right? I've been using Craigslist a lot to score gigs, and I have to say, it's been a pretty solid experience overall. I've found that it keeps things interesting and helps me stay busy. Plus, I get paid more than I would with some boring part-time job. And the best part is, if I don't vibe with a gig or the people, I can bounce by the end of the week, no strings attached. Now, full disclosure, a full-time job isn't in the cards for me right now. I've got some flexibility, but 20 hours a week is pretty much my max. So I'm here wondering, what are you all doing to make ends meet without locking yourself into a full-time gig? Any secrets to finding steady, random gig work that doesn't involve getting stuck in a 9-to-5 grind? For context, I've got a fair bit of experience in videography and video production, so I'm always up for projects in that realm. But honestly, I'm open to most gigs, long as they don't involve a ton of heavy lifting or back-breaking work. I'd love to hear your advice, tips, or stories about how you're hustling outside of the typical 9-to-5. Thanks in advance.
I've been getting into selling plant cuttings and seedlings. It's a great little side hustle that pairs perfectly with my love for gardening. During spring, I usually have an overflow of peppers and tomatoes, so I sell my extras to make a few bucks. But it's not just veggies. I've got a collection of houseplants that sometimes need a little trim, so I'll root the cuttings in water, wait for them to grow some healthy roots, and then pot them up to sell. It's not a gold mine or anything, but it's a satisfying way for my hobby to pay for itself over time, and I get to share the love of plants with others. Plus, I've recently been experimenting with growing pomegranates from seed. Where I live, pomegranates aren't a common houseplant, but I realized the local garden center was selling small trees for $129 plus. I thought, why not grow my own? After a few months of nurturing these little guys, I've been able to sell them for around $20 each. The best part? The seed packs cost me only about $5 for a bunch. So, it's been a pretty sweet deal, and I love that I'm able to turn my green thumb into a little extra cash.
I've got a booth at the local flea market, and honestly, it's been a blast. The most profitable part of my setup, freeze-dried candy. I buy it in bulk from a local business, and with a 100% markup, I'm still selling like crazy. It's honestly a bit silly, but it works. What makes it even better is that the mall nearby sells the exact same candy for 3 times the price. People are always curious about freeze-dried treats but don't want to drop a fortune. So when they see my prices, they're all in. They get to snag 3 for what they'd pay for just 1 in the mall, and that's a deal they can't resist. It's not a highbrow gig or anything, but it's a lot of fun, and it's bringing in some solid cash. Plus, it feels great to offer a cool product that people are excited to try without emptying their wallets. All in all, it's been a sweet little side hustle.
I've been pet sitting for people in my building, mostly doctors and a few elderly couples. I actually started offering my services for free during the pandemic just to help out. But to my surprise, they started tipping me. At first, I was a little taken aback, like, hey, I'm just doing this for fun. I didn't expect anything. But honestly, it's been such a rewarding gig. It's awesome for my own dogs, too. They love having new friends to play with. And I get to take the pups on walks and to the park, which is a blast. Now, whenever someone's out of town, they ask me to look after their pets. I know some people charge $80 a night for pet sitting, which is what I pay my sitter, but I only charge them $40. And as a sweet bonus, they always bring me back a little knick-knack from wherever they've traveled, which is such a thoughtful touch. It's not just about the money. I genuinely enjoy having the extra dogs around, and I love knowing I'm helping out my neighbors. It's a pretty sweet deal all around.
Okay, so this isn't exactly a full-on job or a major moneymaker, but hear me out. In Washington State, I came up with this little hack every time I went to the grocery store. I started snagging those tossed lottery tickets out of the lotto garbage cans. I know it sounds a bit strange, but it turned out to be surprisingly rewarding. I'd scan the discarded tickets into the 360 app and rack up points. Once I hit 1,700 points, I'd get a $25 gift card. Over the course of a year, I made about $825 just by collecting tossed tickets. And here's the crazy part, about $125 of that $825 was from actually winning on the discarded tickets. People were literally throwing away winning tickets. I couldn't believe it. One time, I even found a completely unused scratch ticket in the trash. Though most of the time, I only scored free tickets from bonus rounds. But hey, I wasn't complaining. It wasn't a ton of money, but it was a fun little side hustle that paid off more than I ever expected, all while saving me from having to actually buy lottery tickets. It was kind of like getting a gift just for walking by.
If you're in relatively good health and not taking any medications or drugs, you might want to consider qualifying for drug trials. It's definitely something to approach with caution. You'll need to read the fine print carefully, because some trials involve stuff you definitely don't want to mess with, while others are pretty low risk and relatively harmless. I actually met someone who's been doing them regularly. They said they've participated in a new trial about every 30 days or so. It sounded a bit wild at first, but the payout can be pretty decent. And as long as you're doing your research and staying safe, it's an option that some people have used to make extra money without too much of a time commitment. Just make sure you understand the risks and rewards. And if you're feeling adventurous and healthy, it could be a quirky way to earn some cash while helping out with medical research.
If you're looking for a side hustle that's a bit different, transcription might be right up your alley. It's called Rev, and basically, you transcribe all sorts of audio, anything from police body cam footage to casual talks about blueberry fields. It's definitely a grind, but if you stick with it, you can make some decent money. One of the things to keep in mind is that you do get graded on your work. If you slip up too often, you could get demoted to a base level, which means fewer files to pick from. On the flip side, if you're a top performer, premium users get first dibs on the best files. I've been doing it for a while now and easily make a couple $100 a month just by churning through the audio. To get started, though, you'll need some good noise-canceling headphones and the ability to follow strict guidelines. You'll be labeling speakers, making sure every little detail is accurate, and keeping everything tidy. It's a bit of work, but it's a flexible gig that lets you work from home and earn on your own time.
I do dog training, focusing on both puppies and behavioral issues, and it's honestly one of the most rewarding things I do. I mainly work with the local shelter, helping dogs work through their issues so they can find their forever homes. It's amazing to see the transformation in these dogs, especially the ones who come in with more challenging behaviors. One thing I've really made a point of is teaching the black dogs fun tricks. There's something called black dog syndrome, where black dogs often get overlooked at the shelter and spend longer waiting for a home. So I've started teaching them cool tricks like spin or my personal favorite, fight me, where they stand on their hind legs and flail their front paws like they're in a little boxing match. It's so fun to watch, and it really helps them stand out to potential adopters. It's not just about teaching tricks, though. It's about helping these dogs gain confidence and become more adoptable, which ultimately helps them find loving families faster. Every little success feels like a win, and I'm so grateful to be part of their journey.
Okay, so this might sound a little unconventional, but hear me out. I make a pretty decent side income doing something that most people probably wouldn't even think twice about. I sell items I find in the alley. I know, it sounds wild, but I've stumbled upon some seriously nice stuff that's in basically perfect condition. It's become a little niche of mine, and on average, it brings in an extra part-time job's worth of money each month, sometimes even more. I've got a full-time job, so this is just a side gig for me, but I've built up an impressive Poshmark inventory of over 450 items, and I've sold well over 1,000 things. Right now, I've got another 150 to 200 items waiting to be listed, just chilling in my closet. The best part, no one would ever guess where all this stuff came from. I only list items that are in basically new or perfect condition, and I won't even consider it unless I can list it for $20 or more. The kicker is that I have zero overhead. Aside from the sweat and time I put in, it's all 100% profit. No rent, no inventory costs, just me hustling and finding gems in places most people overlook. It's a cool side hustle that feels like treasure hunting, and the profits speak for themselves.
When I was in university, I came across a program that could remove the copyright restrictions on e-textbooks, which meant I could keep them longer than the usual 3-day window. It only cost me about $15, and I thought, why not take advantage of this? So I made normal PDF copies of all the key textbooks for my degree and started selling them to other students for $15 each. It wasn't anything fancy. I just emailed people links to my Dropbox, and they'd share it around with their friends. In the end, I easily made over $10,000 during my 3-year degree just by doing that. It was kind of like running my own little textbook business, except I didn't have to deal with inventory or shipping. Of course, I have to acknowledge that what I was doing was illegal, and definitely not something I'd recommend anyone try. But at the time, it felt like a smart way to make money without doing much work. Looking back, though, I realize it was a pretty risky move, and probably not something I'd do again.
That's all for now. And what way to earn money you like? Maybe you know how to earn money yourself. Share it in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.